Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Radhika Agarwal,
And I'm Khushi Agarwal.
and we are the hosts for this session. Before we begin with the second session, we present before you all the JPNR video.
पॉडकास्ट हमने बनाया है क्योंकि आज के दिन में क्लासरूम ट्रेनिंग नोबडी इज़ वेरी मच इंटरेस्टेड, सो दैट इज़ एवरीवन वांट टू हैव अ सॉल्यूशन इन अ वेरी टॉकेटिव वे. सो इस पूरे रूम को अगर आप देखेंगे तो ये एक प्योर लाइब्रेरी वी हैव क्रिएटेड विथ दिस पॉडकास्ट फैसिलिटी, सो दैट आज हमारे जितने भी अपडेट्स आ रहे हैं, चेंजेस आ रहे हैं, अमेंडमेंट्स आ रहे हैं, उसको हम लोग हमारे इन हाउस एक्सपर्ट्स क्रिएट करें. हमारे जो रिसोर्सेज हैं, हमारे ट्रेनीज हैं, मैनेजर्स हैं, हम उनको मोटिवेट करें.
Hello and welcome. My name is Kripa.
And I'm Akriti.
And we are the articles of JPNR Corporate Consultants Private Limited. And today we are here to speak on a very crucial topic for businesses operating in GST.
Which is ITC, Input Tax Credit.
If I develop as an individual, automatically the firm will develop, and that's how we work as one team, one team.
Outward supply books.
बेईमान सोचना क्यों, जब जिंदगी है एक ही, दो बार सोचना क्यों, मैं परिंदा क्यों बनूं,
moments which will be kept in memory throughout your life. हमारे टाइम में JPNR में एक बार इंडोर स्पोर्ट्स में मैं भी पार्टिसिपेट किया था, लकी थी.
वो जो सोच रहे हैं और जो महसूस कर रहे हैं और जो कर रहे हैं उसमें अलाइनमेंट है. इट्स नॉट रैंडम. ऐसा नहीं कि मैं सोचूं क्या बकवास काम कर रही हूँ, मैं इरिटेटेड फील कर रही हूँ बट सामने से वाली कर रही हूँ, फील करना पड़ता है. नॉट लाइक दैट. व्हेन यू लाइक दैट, दैट बिकम्स स्ट्रेस, दैट बिकम्स एंजाइटी, दैट ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम में either become passive aggression or depression. And that's why so many people today are struggling at a mental emotional level, not so much let's say financially or physically, but a lot psychologically. 6, 7,
It was wonderful to be here. Really happy to be part of URJA 3.0. Wonderful setup, very helpful team, and I think lots of URJA and energy that I saw in the room. You guys are doing fantastic. Keep doing it. Look forward.
We are delighted to have Mr. Kishanji Kejriwal, the chairman of MC Kejriwal Group of Institution and the member of FTS Yoga. I now invite Raki Harodia ma'am and Manav Chaucharya sir to kindly felicitate Mr. Kejriwal. Thank you so much, sir. What a wonderful room this is, filled with dreamers, doers, builders, and believers. All of you here at this very moment for one powerful reason, purpose.
Before we begin, take a second, look around you. Every person here has a story, a journey, a reason that they keep going when things get hard. And that reason, that driving force, is exactly what we are here to celebrate today.
Thomas Carl once said, "A person with clear purpose will make progress even on the roughest road."
Think about it for a moment. Not the smoothest road, not the easiest path, the roughest road. Because purpose does not promise comfort, it promises meaning. It does not remove the obstacles, it gives you the strength to walk through them anyway.
And today we have here with us someone who hasn't just spoken about purpose, he has lived it. A leader who has walked through that rough road with conviction, who has built not just a successful business but a meaningful one, who has led teams through uncertainty and never lost the sight of human picture. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for a leader, a visionary, a man of clear and unwavering purpose, Mr. Jaydeep Chitlangia, sir.
Along with him, we warmly welcome our managers, Dinesh Bhaiya and Aditya Bhaiya, to join him on stage. Before we hear from the man himself, let's take a moment to understand his inspiring journey. I now request Dinesh Bhaiya to kindly read the profile of Mr. Jaydeep sir.
Radhe Radhe everyone. Alright everyone, are we having a great time today? आवाज सुनाई नहीं दी. It's only 2.5 hours we have started URJA, and what's the URJA? So are we having great time today? So that's the spirit, because that's exactly what URJA means. Now, did you know that today, April 11th, is the birth anniversary of the great Jyotirao Phule, one of India's most extraordinary social reformers who believed that education and mentorship could change the world? Well, on this very significant day, we have with us a man who carries that same spirit forward, a leader, a mentor, and an institution in himself. Our next speaker is someone who has built his own life on 3 pillars: knowledge, service, and excellence. Formed at the hallowed halls of Lamart's for Boys and St. Xavier's College, Kolkata, Mr. Jaydeep Chitlangia went on to become one of the most respected voices in Indian industry. As mentor at Duroply Industries and a proud member of its promoter family, he has shaped the organization's vision with his rich experience in sales, marketing, and industry leadership. His guiding philosophy, rooted in the teachings of Swami Vivekananda and Chanakya, reflects a leader who leads not just with strategy but with soul. He currently serves as Secretary General of the Federation of Indian Plywood and Panel Industry and has been the former president of the Indian Agro and Recycled Paper Mills Association. Of the professional field, he takes to the golf course with equal passion, having served as president of the Indian Golf Union and as a trustee promoter of the Heritage School, Kolkata. Much like Phule before him, he invests in the future one young mind at a time. Please put your hands together, give him the loudest URJA welcome for our honorable speaker, Mr. Jaydeep Chitlangia.
Thank you, Dinesh Bhaiya. We now invite Nikita Di, Shubh, and Mohit Bhaiya to please come forward and felicitate Mr. Jaydeep sir with an Uttorio, a memento, and our appreciation, a plant, a symbol of growth, positivity, and lasting impact.
And now, the moment we have all been waiting for. Sir, we request you to kindly enlighten us on the topic, the power of purpose, business and life aligned. Sir, the stage is all yours.
Jayesh ji, Roshan, Neeraj. When I think Roshan gave me a call, he has Neeraj spoken to you. I said, regarding what? He said, we are having our annual day, or we are doing a program. and Neeraj is supposed to speak to you to invite you. I said, नहीं, नीरज तो अभी तक बात ही नहीं किया मेरे से. तो फिर, me being me, I picked up the phone. I said, Neeraj, you were supposed to call me. What happened? He said, regarding what? I said, रोशन बोल रहा था तू मेरे को फोन करने वाला, इनवाइट करने के लिए. Friends, so that's the background of why I'm standing here. Right? Can I have a small ask. Can I have everybody in the room sitting down, please? Nobody standing on my right. Photographers are exempt unless they want to take some knowledge back and they want to understand what I'm going to speak about, because end of the day, they also have a role in their families, in their environment, with their friends. And that's the reason I'm standing here. So I'll wait till you finish your conversation, okay? I'll wait till you finish your conversation. And wo jo last table hai na, can they come somewhere in front here? They're getting lost. Wo jo last kona wala table hai. The backbenchers, that table, yeah, that table. Samne aa jao, because find a seat for yourself, you're within colleagues. This is not school where you need to sit next to a friend, right? You got to make friends at your workplace. And while we are doing this, I've shared a video. Can we please see that video, please? And it's uncanny. When I was driving driving out of my house in the morning, as usual, I normally go to YouTube and check what's happening. And believe you me,
it's actually a trap.
It's a YouTube video. अभी नहीं तो बाद में चला देना. हाँ, right. आप लोग भी देख लो क्या है.
The obsession with the outcome
let everybody
is actually a trap.
You'll be in between.
And accept that some days we will fail. How many of you are afraid of failing? Correct. Thank God there are people speaking the truth here. What did Rahul Dravid say? I batted 604 times for India. I didn't cross 50 runs 410 times out of those. I failed a lot more than I succeeded. Michael Jordan failed a lot more than he succeeded. Roger Federer failed a lot more than he succeeded. So is there any point worrying about failing? If Rahul Dravid is not worried about failing, why should we be here? No? Don't agree? Or is it because you're just saying this guy's coming to the end of his career, he can say whatever he wants? The truth is, if you're not afraid of failing, you win more. It's happened to me twice in my life. After I finished my BTech, I didn't know I was going to get in here. In my wildest dreams, I didn't imagine I'd get in here. So what do you do? This is 1983. You don't get jobs if you're an engineer from a small college in Hyderabad. So you delay unemployment. That year, the IITs had started something called GATE, Graduate Aptitude Test in Engineering, to do an MTech at IITs. It was one of my options, it was not my only option, and I wasn't really bothered. So I went with a completely open mind. I wasn't afraid. There were 9 sections. You had to do only 7 out of those. I didn't even know which 7 I wanted to do. So I did all 9. And 5 minutes from the end, I just quickly checked how many questions I've answered in which segment and struck off 2 of those. But I wasn't afraid of losing. And so I scored more marks than all my friends who were actually better than me at chemical engineering, because they wanted it very badly. Then I came here, and the only job I ever wanted was a particular job in advertising. And I wanted it so badly, man. The same prof who taught us also worked in advertising. I chewed his brains every day. And then I went for the interview. It was the single worst interview anyone can ever do. And I've come back, 3rd of March 1985. I remember the date, I'll tell you why. 3rd of March 1985. And I'm sitting in my room thinking, dude, you flunked it, man. When in those days, there used to be one telephone, remember? One telephone on each floor. That phone rang and said, "Oh, placement office ne bulaya hai aapko." I said, यार मैं पूरा गड़बड़ करके हूँ, क्यों बुला रहे हो फिर? He said, that guy doesn't know यार. He said, नहीं साहब ने बुलाया है. So there I go, and people from Rediffusion are there. He said, what happened? I said, I'm sorry, I wanted it too badly. He said, I'll give you the job on the condition you never do an interview as badly as that again. Sometimes when you're obsessed with the outcome, you lose sight of the present. So can we let the outcome just happen? But in the world that we are in every single thing we're crazy about outcomes. How many on Instagram? How many of you within 5 minutes of posting on Instagram are checking likes? And how many of you are saying, damn, nobody? We are obsessed with the outcome. We're obsessed with results. All the time you're thinking of results which are not in your hands. On Instagram, effectively, I mean, I'm on Instagram too. It says that I forget to post. I'm on Instagram too. But on Instagram, we are living the lie, aren't we? How many aspects of today's life are we living the lie in? The world is beautiful, is it? I don't know what my next job is going to be. My assessment has not gone too well, and I've built up all these EMIs because I'm this cool guy who's got to drive the big car, right? You're stressed out like hell. You're pretending you're living a lie. That is where depression is coming in. And luckily, I've got grown-up men as children, and they talk to me about the amount of depression in society these days. It's a direct outcome of how much you're crazy about these outcomes. Don't worry about outcomes in life. We're not playing a T20 match in life, you know. Our life is a test match. We're not playing a T20. Sometimes it might look like a T20 game when one quiz follows another. Especially when the quiz is 2 o'clock quiz is announced at 1:20. Are profs still as cruel? They are? You're going to the mess and there's a small notice somewhere saying quiz at 2 o'clock? Thank God. So yeah, we're playing a test match. The great thing about test match cricket is it always gives you a second chance. Always. There's a second innings for a reason in test match cricket, because in life you always get a second innings. That's why there is a second innings in test cricket. When the going gets tough, you don't get out, but you hang in. You become a pujara. Why is pujara so admirable? Hang in there. I may not be able to score just now, but I won't let you get me out. When the tide turns, I'm still here, you're not. We play test match cricket. Is hanging in cool or is hanging in an uncle thing? What do you think? If you think it's not cool, you got a lot of trouble coming your way, man. Hang in there, hang in is beautiful.
Roshan ji, my question was how many of you can? The problem is we train our minds to respond, to react, not respond. And that's where the difference between a T20 game and test cricket is. How many of you saw Suryavanshi hit 75 runs yesterday in 28 or 30 balls? It was all reaction. And then when the need came, he also responded to that tight ball where he couldn't hit that. And when he got out, did anybody see his facial expression? He felt dejected. He should have been elated because of the way he scored, but he felt dejected because in his mind he had built up that story or that narrative that he wants to be hitting the winning runs. He forgot about the foundation. Why I bring this to is that the 3 partners of JPNR have built a foundation for all of you to succeed in life. They've given you an opportunity to do something about your life. Coming back to when Roshan was talking about perfection, and he said, I'm a perfectionist. Let me tell you, at the bottom of my heart, perfection has a different meaning for all of us. But the issue is, are we treating perfection as a destination? Or are we treating perfection as a journey? Perfection will always be a journey. It can never be a destination. the goalposts will keep shifting from place to place to place. The moment you hit your milestone, you'll see the next one happening, the next one happening. And suddenly your mind says, इस मैनेजर को मैं खुश कैसे करूं? What do I do about it? मैं क्या करूं? जब देखो इसको मेरे में तकलीफ नजर आती है, जब देखो इसको. Take that as a learning mode. Take that as a step towards achieving better results. Take that as a guidance to become a better person. It could be at home, it could be with your teachers, it could be with your faculty, it could be at college in CA firm where you did your articleship, it could be wherever. End of the day, it all boils down to every action, every time you're told something, Anilji was talking about positivity, and somebody asked that question, sir, when my energies are very low, when my energies are negative, how do I come out of it? The only way to do it, according to me, is take time off. हम लोग सब T20 मैच के लिए चालू हो गया, right? Time out. What is that time out all about? The game has become so fast that they need to give some time to the players to recalibrate themselves on where the match is, to give the players a chance to speak to each other as a team. Ki boss, Suryavanshi has made 70 runs and what do? We are going to lose the match. We made 200, but Suryavanshi ko kaise roke? Who is the best guy forward? So then the team says, okay, let's give it a different try. Let's move out of all the regular bowlers. Let's give somebody else. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. He was not expecting Tim Wood to come and bowl. So he was caught off guard. And the team succeeded in getting out. It's a different story that they lost the match. But the fact remains, at that point of time, the pressure on the team was to get Suryavanshi out. Because he had destroyed the complete planning is what Mr. Trump has done to the rest of the world today. There are multiple reasons. Some say he's making money on the crypto business because that's a large part of his income. And I think there's more information about him on Google Chacha than I can share with you, but he's gone 3 times bankrupt. He has filed for Section 11 3 times and yet he is the President of the United States of America. And what does Section 11 allow you to do? It allows you to declare yourself as bankrupt, bounce back, and come back to work and make another successful business, or at least give yourself an attempt to another successful business. So that's where we are. Friends, what I would like you to do now is take out your phone or a piece of paper. And I want you to write down 2 things. The first, the one thing you are truly proud of about yourself. So I'm going to be a bit different. It's a bit of a conversation. It's going to be a bit of a Q&A. I will invite Neeraj and Roshan also on stage at some point of time. The second thing, one thing you keep meaning to do, something which you've been putting off. आज नहीं कल कर लेंगे, कल नहीं परसों कर लेंगे, क्या करना है? वो कमरे की सफाई है, अलमारी साफ़ करना है, एक फ्रेंड को फ़ोन करना है, एक ताई जी को फ़ोन करना है, एक बुआ जी को फ़ोन करना है, एक मामा जी को फ़ोन करना है. Or you want to connect with some old school friend of yours, maybe your relatives, your cousins. There are so many things that you keep putting off. And what is that one thing you've been putting off? Is it a conversation? Is it a decision? Is it a step that you haven't taken as yet? I give you 60 seconds. To note down your list A, list B. Okay, the second one is one thing you keep meaning to do. Something that you've been putting off. right? Is it a conversation? Is it a decision you want to make? Is it a step that you want to take but you haven't taken? Is it about losing weight? Is it about getting healthier? Whatever it may be. And remember one thing, there's nothing right, nothing wrong. Don't worry if the person sitting next to you is trying to see what you've written. एग्जाम टाइम में तो बहुत करते थे ना. Yeah? So I just go back to a small story. About 2,500 years ago, a man sat in a forest. He had lost everything. He had no kingdom. He had no army. He had no title. Nothing, but he had a mind which was on fire. And he had one burning question. Why do people with everything, who have everything, still achieve nothing? And why do people with nothing are able to change the world? What is that differential between the two of them? And ladies and gentlemen, that man was no other but Chanakya. And today in this room, I want to ask you the same question. Look at where you are. Look at what you've built. Look at what you've cleared. What you've survived just to be sitting in this room today. What are the hardships? What are the thought processes? What have you survived to be sitting here today? And remember, you are not ordinary people. You never were ordinary. And yet, just see the second list you just wrote. That list exists for every one of us, for every single one of you, including me. There's a gap between where you are and where you want to be. It's not a skills gap. Skill-wise, all of you are more or less the same, with the same skill sets. It is not a knowledge gap. It is not even a timing gap. What it is a mindset gap. And that is something we can work on together. And I mean together. So for the next couple of minutes, I'm not here to lecture you. I'm here to have a conversation about the one thing that changes everything. And that is your relationship with your potential. Suryavanshi at the age of 15 plays a kind of cricket which nobody in the world has seen. And that's because he plays cricket fearlessly. He is not afraid of failure. The biggest life lesson that I've learned, and which is not taught in any university across the world, it is not taught in any MBA program, and that is, how do we handle failure? The only thing that stops you from handling failure is the fear. As long as you know that the effort you made is the right effort and the correct amount of effort, and you are convicted and you have the conviction of that effort, the failure, how do you define failure? Actually, it's not a failure. In spite of all the best actions and activities you do, failure is a result of the unknown. Failure is not in your control. The same way success is not in your control. It's the end result of the environment in which we operate. I was supposed to be here at 11:30. I tried my level best. I was here at 11:42 for 11:45 session. Yes, I failed. Because I planned to be here at 11:30. And my planning was not sufficient. I found more traffic than there should have been. Google Chacha let me down. However, I also succeeded. Because you did not know I was supposed to be at 11:30. So the failure was in my mind that I was not there. Neeraj asked me to be here by 11:30. I was here at 11:42. I was getting stressed in the car. मैं नहीं पहुँचूंगा, time से नहीं पहुँचूंगा, क्या होगा? So failure again is in your mind. How do you define failure? One more example of failure. You all did articleship. Some of you decided to become chartered accountants. I see this across all spheres of occupation. Did you get your dream articleship? Did you get your second choice of articleship? Did you get your third choice of articleship? The fact remains, we need to be grateful. We need to have gratitude that we did get into articleship. We were not rejected. We were not out on the road. We planned to become chartered accountants. We wanted to become a part of the chartered accountancy accounting ecosystem. And therefore, it's not a failure. If the failure is against your own expectation, you expected to be somewhere else. Did you get a salary of 1 crore rupees? No. Did you get a salary of 25 lakh rupees? Yes. I'm talking about MBA students. That's how society sees them around. But as long as the individual looks at himself as an individual and says, I did the best that I could do, he's built that story, he's built that narrative. And therefore, he's broadcast that narrative, he's broadcast that story, and then when it's not met, everybody treats him as a failure. But genuinely, is he a failure? He's not a failure. It's in your own mind. So, when did you last sit quietly and ask yourself, where am I actually going? Not where the firm is going. And this is for the senior members of the firm who are also in the room. Not where my team is going, but as an individual, where am I going? Because here is what I know about reactive living. So there's responsive living and there's reactive living. It is not laziness. It is not a character flaw. It is a system. A very efficient, very well-designed system that was never built with you as the individual at the center of that system. It was always, I expect this from you, please deliver. He does not understand what he wants to give. What are you capable of doing? Do you have any key challenges which are stopping you from doing that? So very early in my life, I started a system and I would tell my team, I expect you to finish your work at a particular time. You have the right to negotiate with me on that timeline. Sir, you want it by Friday. I'm sorry, I can't give it to you by Friday. Can we do it by Monday or Tuesday? And if Monday or Tuesday is not acceptable to me, then we get into a negotiation and decide on a timeline which serves both purpose. I didn't want to create a stress in the system by telling somebody, burn the midnight oil. Don't care with where you get the information from, how you get the information. If the internal systems do not provide you with the information, you still need to get that information. And therefore, it's necessary to be able to negotiate upwards and downwards on expected results, on expected timelines. This will go a great way in helping reduce workplace stress. So let me talk to you about my story at 1984. I was 21 years old. So I've given away my age today. All of you are chartered accountants, you can calculate at the back of your heart. I belong to an entrepreneurial family. I had decided studying further was not for me. And just to bring everybody in this room up to date, except for the seniors who understand what I'm saying, St. Xavier's College, a part of Calcutta University, used to have BCom, and there were two levels of graduating. One was BCom Pass, which was a 2-year course, and one was BCom Honors, which was a 3-year course. I had already done 18 years or 16, 17 years in school, and done another 2 years in, 3 years in 18 and 2, yeah, 20, in college. So रोज सुबह 6 बजे कॉलेज आओ. Xavier's BCom used to be at 6 in the morning. ये स्कूल भी 8 बजे पहुँचो, कॉलेज भी 6 बजे पहुँचो. What kind of a life am I leading, यार? Enough is enough. And I told my father, अब और मेरे से पढ़ाई नहीं हो रही है. बोले पढ़ाई नहीं हो रही है? नहीं हो रही है. Next thing I know, I was engaged. बोले तेरे को अब जिंदगी की पढ़ाई कराता हूँ मैं. And once you get engaged, then you get married. And the day I got married, I was handed over a train ticket. बोले इज योर ट्रेन टिकट. ऐसे ये कहाँ है? बोले ये अपनी पेपर मिल लगाई है, वहाँ जाने का एक ही तरीका है. ये लो रात को 8 बजे की ट्रेन है, सुबह 6 बजे वहाँ उतर जाओगे. ये तो अच्छा ही हुआ यार, शादी भी हो गई, 10 दिन भी नहीं हुए और यार टेलिंग मी गो टू माई प्लांट. नो ट्रेनिंग, no exposure. Yeah, the only training I had while I did college from 6 to 9, I was in office every day at 11 o'clock. 11 to 3 was my office time. And the first day I entered the office, my grandfather said, "Beta, और कुछ नहीं करना है तेरे को, learn how to write the cash book." And I was detailed as the assistant cashier. Not even the cashier. And daily report निकलती थी कि इन्होंने कैश बुक लिखने में कितनी गलती करी. And every evening when I left at 3 o'clock, I had to do my tally कि तिजोरी में जितने रुपए हैं उतने रुपए कैश बुक में लिखे हुए हैं कि नहीं है. So my training as a perfectionist started at a very young age because that was about being very, very essential, and that training happened because it was necessary to understand the business processes and what was the key factors of running a successful business or what the successful business was all about. I was not an owner. I was an owner technically, but I went to the plant not as a boss. I went as a trainee. I was under-seasoned. There were experienced managers who had forgotten more than what I had learned. There was no technology to lead on. The technology for the paper mill that time was just evolving. There's a huge story which I don't want to get into the details. There was no Google. There were no shortcuts. The only way forward was R&D, research and development, through experience, through trials, through showing up and figuring it out. And therefore, I hit the treadmill from day one. For 5 years, I ran. I ran hard. I ran fast every single day. And somewhere in those 5 years, without planning it, without expecting it, I became the head of that business from the family side. But here is what I want to share with you. The moment that mattered most was not the promotion. It was the day a customer looked at us, looked at me, and he said, "Your dealings are very fair. We enjoy working with your company." At that point of time, if I recollect, there were companies which would expect a dealer to come and spend 3 to 4 days in their office in Calcutta. Dealers were all over the country. And just waiting for the accountant to be available or the sales manager to be available or anything. And he had to spend 3 to 4 days' time, wasting that time sitting in the company's head office. It was not productive time. Like today, everybody is asking, why should I go for this meeting? What is the purpose of going for this meeting? So I told my team, I said, if there is any dealer who comes to the office, if you call a dealer, you will please let me know the reason you are calling the dealer. I will try and give you a solution. I will try and work it out, a process, a system, which ensures that the dealer does not have to come to the office. If he's come to Calcutta to meet them, he's a common dealer, he comes to have a cup of tea, he's most welcome. That's PR. But he cannot be asked to come. We have to resolve his issues within a certain set of time. And that's what made the change in my life, in the processes being fair and being perfectionist. It was also the day an industry peer called us leaders. We became a benchmark for our products in the market. It was the day a competitor made our product their benchmark. That was actually my honest mirror. Not that I thought of it myself, but what the world reflected back because of how we had shown up every single day, quietly, consistently, and with integrity. I did not find myself in a classroom. I did not find myself in a book. And therefore, we come to a potential paradox. Potential is not a destination. It's a direction. We all have potential within us. I want you to picture someone with every qualification, every credential, someone who has passed one of the toughest professional examinations in the world and still sits quietly wondering, am I ready? Is it my turn? Will someone notice me? Now refer back to the video I showed when Harsha says, I gave the worst interview possible of my life. And he got hired. Does that sound familiar? In 40 years of building a business, I have watched people, talented, capable, brilliant, get stuck. Not because they lacked ability, not because of the opportunity wasn't there, but because of the locks they had installed within themselves. The first is a comparison lock, which starts very early in life. Now, if you measure your chapter 1, your point 1 against someone else's measure your chapter 1 against someone else's chapter 10, looking at what your batchmate has built, what your senior has achieved, and using that as evidence that you are behind. Actually, you are not behind, you are on a different road. The second is the permission lock. Waiting for someone to tell you that you are ready, waiting for the nod, the signal, the invitation. Here is the uncomfortable truth. The signal rarely comes. The people who move before they feel ready. And the third and most dangerous of all is the comfort lock. In 40 years, the single most common thing I have witnessed is this. Good people, capable people, talented people, slowly, quietly settling down into their comfort zone. And the saddest part, most of them don't even know it is happening. Because comfort doesn't feel like a trap, it feels like a success. It feels earned, it feels safe. Until one day, you look up and realize the world has moved on and you haven't. Thank you, Roshan and Neeraj, for showing that picture to my employees. You are a part of the team which has shown that, and we've gone through a huge, major restructuring. And Chanakya warned us that the straight trees are cut first. And I know that from experience because for our raw material, for our business, we need straight trees. The ones who still stand, the ones who become predictable, the ones who stop reaching, because if a tree doesn't grow sideways, if it grows sideways, it's reaching out. But if it goes straight, it's just moving in a direction. So I want to ask you, look at your week. Look at your calendar. Look at the conversations you are having. Are you stretching yourself? Or are you settling down into the comfort zone? Are you happy reaching out to people? Are you happy people challenging your thoughts? Are you happy people challenging your physical attributes? Or are you happy within that comfort zone of a YouTube or a mobile phone, smartphone, and palang pe pad ke and sofa pe baith karke, and the whole day we are doing that? Are you challenging yourself? Because comfort and growth cannot occupy the same space at the same time. Chanakya said something else that I keep coming back to. Education is the best friend. An educated person is respected everywhere. Education beats beauty and youth. But he didn't mean only books. He didn't mean only degrees. He meant the education of the self, your narrative, your tribe, your growth edge. The daily curriculum of becoming more intentional about who you are and who you are choosing to become. The curriculum never ends. I am still enrolled in it. At whatever age I am still learning. I am still unfinished. I am still unbecoming. Just to share with you, yesterday I gave a talk on my industry in Delhi. In the morning I had a session at the Heritage School on wellness, mental wellness, and now I'm addressing you today. So I as a person am also evolving. And I'll come what I did at my younger age as we go on. That curriculum never ends. I want to share a simple framework with you. There are 6 anchors that I believe form the foundation of an intentional life. And it's called Ignite. So, I stands for intention. Start each week with a choice. And on choice, I just want to share another small anecdote. How many of you have heard Gaur Gopal Das or know about him? Yeah? So one day, and this is about a couple of years ago, when YouTube and Insta was not so common, I happened to listen to him on YouTube. And he spoke about the ABCD of life. How many of you have heard this ABCD podcast of his? No? Okay. So I miss out the A because that's irrelevant. Then he said, B stands for birth. Birth is a constant. Being a constant, you have no choice. Where you will be born, which household, under what circumstances, which hospital, which parents. But it's a fact. We're all sitting here, so there's been birth. Then he says, D. D is death. Similar to birth, D is death. And you have no control at what age, under what circumstances, how, after what pain, what illness, how are you going to die? And there is no control. You can do nothing about it. Can anybody control his death? How he's going to die? He said, then there's C. And he says, C is a choice. C is a choice on how you want to live life. C is a choice of choosing friends. C is a choice of going to Starbucks for a coffee. C is a choice of joining JPNR. C is a choice of you becoming an artist. C is a choice of becoming a musician. C is a choice of having a hobby, not having a hobby. So there is C as a choice. So embrace the C and make your life better. G is for growth. Name one thing that scares you slightly and move towards it. I will come back to this later on. N is the narrative. Audit the story you tell yourself about who you are, because that story is running your life, whether you know it or you don't know it, consciously or subconsciously, is the narrative that you build for yourself. Like today, I built a narrative for myself. I moved away from work, active work, and I'm spending more and more time in sharing experiences, sharing my views. So that's a story that I built for myself, that this is where I want my life to move, in which direction. Then comes I. It says, invest in yourself. Before anything else, before any other investment, the one that compounds the most is you. And 3 years ago, I decided to invest in myself. I was 100 kilos 3 years ago. Today I'm 75 kilos. All my blood results are good. All my health results are good. It was just that I decided to invest in myself. And that investment equal to not eating pizzas, not eating burgers, not eating chola bhaturas, not eating any food except for 3. I used to eat 4 items a day through the day for breakfast, lunch and dinner. And I used to go to the gym. The gym only to keep my muscles going, nothing to do with weight loss, nothing to do, and everything just fell into place. But the day I decided to invest in myself, that's when the change happened. Tribe. You become the average of who you spend time with. Your tribe is either lifting you or limiting you. Choose carefully. E is evidence. Keep a record of your wins, big and small, not for the world, but for yourself. Because your hardest day, your own evidence, is the only argument that wins. You've had a tough day. Where do you go with that evidence? You had a successful day. Who will believe you that you have a hard day? So make sure you make a record of the evidence. Let me tell you the growth edge from my own life. The business was established. The family was proud. The peers were respectful. By any measure, I had arrived. And then quietly, something stirred in me. Not dissatisfaction, not unhappiness, just a voice. A quiet, persistent voice that said, there is more in you. I always grew up in an environment where at family it was always work is one place. There's enough of life outside of work. So I played sports through and through from my young days. And I played golf, and I continue to play golf. I played golf at the highest level. I played at tournament level, at the national level. And then suddenly I realized I was not good enough, and I just came back and played recreational golf. And the answer was honest. Instead, I asked myself one question: what scares me slightly? And the answer was honest. Stepping into a world where my business credentials meant nothing. Where I would have to earn my place on completely different terms. And the result, at the young age of 51, I became the youngest president of the Indian Golf Union, which is the equivalent of the BCCI for cricket. Not because someone asked me, not because it was expected, but because that relentless deserved an answer. And that, friends, is your growth edge. That quiet voice that says, there is more. The question is, are you listening to it? What is your restlessness telling you right now? And that you've been too busy to hear? And evidence, let me be honest with you about this one. I never stopped to celebrate wins. The moment something was done, I moved to the next challenge, the next problem, the next mountain. I had my fair share of failures, but I never allowed them to stop me. Looking back, I realized I had something that kept me going regardless. A purpose, a goal, a forge that had built my resilience even before I knew what resilience meant. Most of you are still building your inner compass. And for you, your own evidence of growth is not vanity, it's fuel. Keep a record, not for anyone else, but for yourself. Because on your hardest day, when doubt walks in and sits down uninvited, your own evidence is the only argument that wins. I am still becoming, and so are you. So now we come to the topic, URJA. So we've been talking about URJA, and what does URJA mean? URJA means energy. And here is what I want you to understand, that energy is not something this event gives you. It is not something I can give you. It is not waiting to arrive. It is already inside you. You are in this room The fact that you're in this room, you have already proven something just by being here. The question was never whether you have the potential. The question is, are you going to keep waiting for someone to ignite it, or are you going to strike the match yourself? Remember that second list you wrote at the beginning. This is not a failure list. This is not a list of your shortcomings. This is the map to your next level. Pick it up, look at it, and decide that the gap between those two lists is not something to be ashamed of. It is something to be excited about. And as Chanakya said, once you start working on something, don't be afraid of failure. Don't abandon it. People who work sincerely are the happiest. The spark is already there. And URJA is just a reminder. Before we open up, I just want to do a couple of Q&A if time permits. I want you to do one more thing. Turn to the person next to you. So not everybody can turn left, so everybody turn right. Okay, and if you can look at Roshan, he's on your right. Roshan will look the other way around. And you have 2 minutes. Tell them, which law do you recognize most in yourself now? Is it comparison? Is it comfort? Or is it permission? Just 2 minutes. मेरे को देख लो, तुम उसको देख लो. And share that insight. Don't feel ashamed. Nobody is going to judge you. The biggest problem of human mankind as an individual is the fear of being judged. Have you seen a 3-year-old kid in your house or in this thing? Are they afraid of anything? No, no. But what do? We keep telling that, daudo mat, gir jaoge. We are already feeding his mind and we're already judging him without realizing whether he can fall or not. हमने पहले ही बोल दिया तुम गिर जाओगे. So this doctrine of the mind starts from a very young age. And slowly you will find वो फिर पूछना भूल जाते हैं, वो पूछना बंद कर देते हैं, because in classroom they are told पूछो मत, इतना बार तो समझा दिया. So there is a constant, and this happens at the workplace also. A senior manager will tell a trainee or a junior, तुमको इतना बार तो तुमसे नहीं होता है ना, छोड़ दो मैं कर देता हूँ. And what does that do to the organization? So that's the permission lock. And that's where empowerment comes. I always told my people, never come to me with a question, come to me with a solution. If you don't come to me if there's no solution, there is no issue. And if you can't come with a solution, what do you expect me to give you a solution? Come to me with an issue. The floor is yours. Any questions, any reflections, I'm not here as an expert. I'm here as someone who has lived this life and is still living it. What's on your mind? Any questions? Any views? Everything is coming from there. In the morning session, Mr. Kariwal also came from that corner. Yeah, go ahead. Let everybody hear, Mike. How much time do we have? So, 1:17 हुआ है. 1:30 we'll close for lunch. That's my negotiation with you, Neeraj. I negotiated with him because my lunch time is 1:30. I saw the schedule. बोला 2:30 बजे lunch कराऊंगा. मैंने कहा मैं तो मर जाऊंगा. Can we interchange the two sessions? All of you, how many of you are happy with this negotiation of mine? Raise your hands. Neeraj, just look around. Thank you.
So how can I have a proper balance between career growth and personal satisfaction or personal happiness?
Great question. Great concern. I had day before yesterday, I had an interaction with 7, we've just taken on 7 IIM graduates as our management trainees. And they're all based out of Delhi in marketing and this thing. And I ran a similar session with them. I said, what's your goal for the next 5 years? Once you decide your goal, you'll find the way out. First you decide what you want to achieve in the next 5 years. Make life steps. Then, and you know, it's like going to school. If you look at your life in school, you always looked at, did I get enough marks? अब मेरे को किस चीज़ में पढ़ाई करनी है? कौन से सब्जेक्ट में पढ़ाई करनी है? You got 80% in 4 subjects, the 5th subject you get 50%. So what do? You spend more time on that. So if you want mental, and the only way to do it is you've got to invest in yourself. The only way to invest in yourself, take, I would not say, ideally 45 minutes a day. If you can't do 45 minutes, half an hour a day, meditate. Listen to music. Do whatever calms your mind. Do whatever is your time out. What do you want to do in that time out? Do that time out. If you're at work, go down, go up and down the steps, go into the corridor, calm your mind, come back. It's like a staircase. Every staircase has a landing. And what is the purpose of that landing? That landing is there to help you recalibrate yourself. Why is it there every 10 steps? Why is it there not there every 20 steps? There is a technical reason for it also. But if you look at it, the old buildings, 15 saal, 20 saal purani, 15 feet high, 20 feet high, if you go to the old buildings, but they also had, then they had 3 steps. They didn't have 2, 1, 2 to reach the next floor. So just spend time, invest in time on yourself. You are very lucky. We are very lucky. There is enough methodologies available on YouTube. Just type, you'll get an answer, start meditating. और कुछ नहीं करना है. चलो एक आंसर और दे देता हूँ. सवेरे घर से निकलने के पहले हनुमान चालीसा पढ़ो, रात को सोने के पहले हनुमान चालीसा पढ़ो, रात को सोते में नींद नहीं आए तो हनुमान चालीसा सुनो. That's what I do. Every night I plug in my earplug. Genuinely, I do my prayers at night. I do my YouTube, I do my cricket, I do everything 11:30. लेकिन रात को 11:30 बजे मैं अपने कान में अपने ईयरपॉड्स एक ही कान में लगाता हूँ क्योंकि दूसरे में तो करवट नहीं बदल सकता हूँ. फॉर दैट नेक्स्ट 1 hour till I wake up, I listen to the Hanuman Chalisa. It's playing. Whether I'm listening, it's there, it's getting in. And the calmness that I get when I get up in the morning, whether I sleep at 2 o'clock, whether I sleep at 6, whatever time, when I get up in the morning at 6:37, I'm fresh to hit the ground running. So for me, it's the Hanuman Chalisa. For you, it could be Sister Shivani. For you, it could be some soulful music. Just find that catalyst. Just find that inflection point. What helps you? End of the day, nobody can help you. Even the doctor prescribes a medicine to you. दवाई तो खानी पड़ेगी ना. बिना दवाई खाए तो तबीयत ठीक नहीं होगी. You cannot correct yourself. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for the valuable insights.
Anybody else? Take a mic. ये mic दे दो ना.
Hello. Yes, sir. My question was regarding the video you shown by Harsha Bhogle. I actually wanted to ask you what he mentioned that sometimes when we want things badly, we are not able to perform good. He said that he had one of the worst interviews in his life. I wanted to ask you from your experience from your life, what I believe that sometimes when we want things badly, it gives us motivation to perform good. So doesn't that contradict with what Harsha Bhogle said?
You know, anything that creates stress, positive or negative. So what Harsha was meaning was, even I've seen this, something that you need really badly and you don't get it. So there's an inflection, there's an inflection point. If you want something so badly and you don't get it, does it create negative stress or do you move on in life? So that answer you have to find for yourself. These are all examples. This is all about investing in yourself and getting an answer within you. It's the spiritual side of you, not the physical side of you, which will decide this. You need to invest in yourself.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. And there's no right or wrong answer. These are all experiences.
Good afternoon, sir. So my question is, how can young professionals like us figure out purpose? Because we are still figuring out our career path only right now.
Like I mentioned, there is that inner calling. You decide what you want to do with life. Where do you want to be? Make those 5-year goals. And finally you'll find, one of the IIM, I'll give you a living example. One of the IIM graduates from IIM Amritsar, I'll give you 2 examples actually. He wanted to do NEET. He did NEET. He got a rank of 400. Okay? He didn't join. Next year, he got dental. He didn't find that exciting enough. He went and joined IIM Sambalpur. You relate to what I'm saying? The second guy, so because I asked him this question, what do you want to do 5 years down the road, where do you see yourself? I'll give you 3 examples. First I've given you. Second guy said, I came from a very average family. I had to do the odd job. I drove a rickshaw. And then my friend said, "Tum itna kar liya hai, main kaam karo na, why don't you give, better job, why don't you give IIM a chance?" He got into IIM. And he's now working in. The third, a youngster like you, 4th stage survivor. And she's handling my PR. She's handling my LinkedIn. Youngster, 4th stage, has recovered. But the common, from all the 7 that I spoke to that day, sir, 5 saal baad apna ghar hona chahiye. I said, I wish you all success, because in the first 5 years of your life, as a startup, not as an entrepreneur, are you not going to make enough money to build a house for yourself? You'll be making enough money to survive the system, to survive. But if you want to build a house, sir, hum log apna business chalu karenge. Now, as an employer, can you imagine somebody who joined me 3 months ago says in the next 5 years, I won't be in your organization. At one time, when I was engaging at that young age, it was unheard of. We've got people working in our organization 20, 25, 30, 35 years. Today, shifting is a very common thing. The question, are you shifting for money, or are you shifting jobs for personal satisfaction, gratification? So once you get to those answers, you will find exactly how to do it. And like I again come back to that one comment of mine, my suggestion, my advice is stick and invest in yourself. The moment you start investing in yourself, when I'm telling you all these stories about investing, and I've invested in myself. So I decided to invest in myself. And I decided to invest in myself not only on the physical side, on the medical side, but also on the spiritual side. And like I said, today, every day I do that. It helps me come back, in spite of my lows. Neeraj and Roshan know my lows, how I feel low. And when the days I really felt low, I wish I don't see tomorrow. And here I am standing in front of you. So that internal strength gets built up if you start investing in yourself, if you start believing in yourself. That's where the key is, and that's for everybody.
Thank you, sir.
So before I go, I want to leave something with you. Chanakya gave a strategy. He told us to master ourselves. And I hope over the last hour or so, you felt that wisdom come alive in the room. But there was another person, another great statesman, someone who went even deeper. Swami Vivekananda. Didn't I just talk about potential? He talked about something more fundamental. He talked about your very nature. He said, each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest this divinity not by looking outward, but by looking inwards. He believed with absolute certainty that every individual is unique, there are no two souls alike, and that your path cannot be anyone else's path. I want to leave you with these 3 questions. Don't answer them now. Don't answer them to me. Sit with them tonight, this weekend, and whenever the noise stops, answer these questions. Who are you when no one is watching and nothing expected of you? I sat with this question for myself and I could not answer it. The silence was the loudest wake-up call of my life. What would you do if you already believed you were enough? I'll be honest, I don't believe I'm enough yet. There is more in me that I haven't discovered, and I say that not with shame, but with excitement. Because Vivekananda ji said potentially divine, it's a direction, not a destination, and we are all still becoming. And the last one, what becomes possible? The moment you stop waiting for permission. I can answer that one from experience. The world of opportunities opens up. Not before, not in the planning, not in the thinking about it. The moment you stop waiting and start moving, the world doesn't need another copy of someone else's success. It needs the full, unapologetic, discovered version of you. Don't just ignite your potential. Discover who you truly are and become that person completely. That is the real meaning of URJA. Thank you. Paperwork.
That was truly inspiring, sir. The clarity, the honesty, and the depth you brought to this topic, it's something each one of us will carry forward. Thank you for giving us not just knowledge, but a lens to see our work and lives through.
Before we conclude, we would like to invite Aditya Bhaiya to kindly deliver the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am honored to propose the vote of thanks for today's insightful session, The Power of Purpose, Business and Life Aligned. We extend our deepest gratitude to our guest, Sri Jaydeep Chitlangia, sir. Thank you, sir, for sharing your deep insight on how vision, values, and action must come together to create sustainable success. Your view on matching personal fulfillment with professional excellence has given us all a new way to look at our career and our lives. In a world that often focuses on short-term gains, your perspective that success gains true value when guided by purpose was particularly powerful. Your video and story was truly inspiring. The clarity you provided on where you are and where you want to be and invest in yourself is something we will all take forward from this URJA 4.0. Thank you again, sir, for sharing such an engaging and insightful session.